I request respected director and dean sirs to come on the dais. I request Deputy Director Sir, Professor Guru Narayan to come on the dais. Thank you, sir. May I request Professor Krishnamurthy Bindu-Madhavan to just give the closing remarks as part of this valedictory function.
Good evening and warm welcome to all of you. I really don't have any particular closing remarks other than to say that I got an opportunity to interact with a lot of different people from across the country, from across the globe, some top researchers, scientists, faculty members and so on. So I think it was overall an enriching experience, at least for me, and I hope everyone here and others who were in the conference would sort of attest to that. We received over 240 papers and we shortlisted using a fairly robust set of criteria, and then finally we ended up with about 70 papers which were presented in this conference. And now, of course, once the conference wraps up, we will, in association with Springer, further select some significant number of that 70 for actual publication in a Scopus Index journal. Scopus Index Conference Proceedings book. That's about the research side of it. A lot of interesting papers from different tracks. We had 5 different tracks, all aligned with the main theme of the conference, which is working related learning, future directions. In terms of the student competition, we received about 70 plus entries from various from student teams from across the country, and based on the submissions from them, we shortlisted 14, and so they were here to present to the jury, and from that 14, we are going to give away 3 prizes, top 3 prizes. Let me actually go back to the papers also. From the 70 papers, we have identified, the juries have identified 5 best papers who will receive award. And for case studies, so that is for the research papers. For practice papers and case studies, we are going to give awards as well separately, and for the poster also. There were 5 keynote speeches delivered by experts such as Professor Manu Kapoor, who is here today with us, Professor Dan Bernstein, and Professor Nelson Lacey, and others. which I thought was very interesting, invigorating, and I think some food for thought, which we'll definitely reflect upon and see how we can apply within our Center for Education Research and Innovation, and perhaps within the broader BITS-Pilani system as well. And then we had two panel discussions which also threw up interesting insights. One was in terms of the industry, academia collaboration and inputs to align the programs with industry needs, and the other was about the pedagogies. And I think we had an interesting mix of industry professionals and also academicians participating in these discussions. So definitely we got some very useful insights which we will study more closely and see how best to implement within our programs, and perhaps it might lead to some additional research and might give us some, might help build our research agenda for the center as well. We are also thankful to the 7 sponsors for this conference, and their support is much appreciated. So, I don't know if that sounds like a report card, I didn't mean it to be, but just to give a quick summary of how the conference has gone. So, that's what I just wanted to share very quickly, and once again I appreciate everyone's active participation, and as we will run, our plan is to run this conference once every 2 years going forward. We may relook at that if we do it annually or perhaps biannually. We would seek your continued support from the global fraternity of researchers and other like-minded professionals, industry professionals, researchers, policymakers, etc., for the future editions of the conference as well. Thank you all.
Now I request Professor P.D. Venkataraman, our Dean, Work Integrated Learning Programs, to deliver this valedictory.
Just want to say a couple of points. Like when we originally conceived this conference, we had 4 important objectives for why we want to do this conference, and 2 of them were: one, to have a global network to connect with the global practitioners and engage with them on an ongoing basis. So I think we have made a good beginning. We have had some discussions with some of you, and we will have some more maybe day after tomorrow as well. So that's one objective I think we have achieved, though in a limited sense, because this is the first version of the conference and our reach has been quite limited, but I'm sure that we'll be able to build upon that. The second is more an internal expectation, which is to create a sort of a momentum among our faculty members in the area of education research. Right now, within BITS and as well within WIIT, the number of people who are focusing on education as a practice or the teaching as a practice. When I say teaching as a practice, I mean doing it in a structured way and then measuring the efficiency of effectiveness of the teaching learning is quite limited. I think through this conference, we have brought in that idea and seriousness that this is something which is very essential as a teacher as well as a division which is focusing predominantly on the instruction. So these are all the 2 objectives with which we started the conference, and I think we have made a good beginning. As Professor Bindumadhavan mentioned, like we will continue to strengthen that, and we expect that more and more faculty colleagues will undertake a lot more structured studies, practices, and as a part of their teaching assignment. So I must thank Professor Bindumadhavan to have put in a lot of effort in conceiving this almost right from scratch. Like he was just told that we would like to have a conference which is focused on education. That was the statement that was given to him, and rest of it is all his ideas. He created his team, gathered his team, and directed them through the entire process, and we have actually seen quite a number of submissions. There is the research articles and discussions. So that's something which I would like to place on record, the amount of work that he and his team has put in, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our respected Deputy Director of Campus Programs and Industry Engagement, with Spilani, Professor.
But congratulations to the entire team of, a dedicated team of faculty members, student volunteers, support staff, led by Professor Bindumadhavan and Professor Ramesh Venkatraman. This is the first international conference on work-integrated learning. As Professor Venkat said, the planning started almost a year back, but over the last several months, the team has put a meticulous plan, organization, and implemented it. It gave a platform for a pool of experts, a mix of experts from academia, industry, and R&D within India, outside India, through several forms of interactions. We had panel discussions, we had eminent speakers giving invited lectures, 5 tracks in which we conducted paper presentations, which had, as Professor Bindumadhavan said in the beginning, it's a good mix of research-oriented and practice-oriented papers. So it gives us a good experience of conducting it, and the learnings of this, how much of that we will synthesize it and take it forward. And I once again congratulate the entire team, and I give a big applause to the entire team here. Thank you.
Thank you, sirs. Now we will proceed with the prize distribution, the most important part of this valedictory function. First, we will start with the research paper awards. As Professor Bindumadhavan mentioned, we have the research paper track. So we have the following categories. Basically, the papers fall into 4 categories: research papers, then practice-oriented papers and case studies, then posters. Okay. So in research papers, we had 5 tracks: perspectives on future directions for work-integrated learning, pedagogical practices, assessment models, innovation and learning technologies, industry-academia collaboration. In each track, we have the best paper award. So now I request our respected Director of Campus Programs and Industry Engagement, Professor G. Sundar, to give away the prizes.
So I was asked if I would say a few words. So first of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I said You please don't ask me to say a few words, but I will say a few words. Uh, so there are, two things I wanted to personally mention during this function. One is, of course, the efforts of Professor Bindu Madhavan, Professor Ramesh Venkatraman and the team have already been mentioned, so I won't say anything about that. On a personal note, I much enjoyed and benefited enormously from the keynote lectures. And especially Professor Bernstein and Professor Kapoor brought home to me why I was always considered an excellent lecturer, but why I always felt I didn't really succeed in getting the students to learn. But I guess it's a little late in life. I can influence others to change things, but perhaps can't do so myself because I do little teaching now. The second thing which I just came to know and which made me immensely happy and proud was to learn that, to see one instance at least of the fact that the work that we are doing in this space is impactful. So may I call Ankita Jaina to please come up on the stage. So this young girl works for one of our large IT services companies in the country. And about 5 years back or so, a little 4.5 years or so, we agreed to develop a program on a BSc in design and computing for them. And I think we've only been doing a moderate job of actually conducting the program. And these children, they work 5 days a week, and over the weekend they study. There's 1 day of classroom engagement. There's a fair amount of hands-on. And she just graduated in January. And I was really thrilled to learn that she and a friend of hers, who also graduated with her, have actually presented 2 posters at this, this first conference that we've held. And that coming from someone who straight after high school became an apprentice for about a year and did a program of study along with a full-fledged, more or less a full-fledged job, is something truly amazing. And I think not too many people, can do it. And after all of that, come up with 2 poster presentations. She told me about one of them, and that certainly is an idea which we will find it useful to implement in our programs to improve the learning experience. So may I ask Ankita to just introduce herself and say a couple of words to the audience.
Hello everyone.
And, what made me even happier was that she said she intended to pursue another degree at some point in the future, and that would also, at this point of time, she thinks that would also be a work-integrated learning program. Right? And so I took that as perhaps one of the most rewarding moments for having done this work for so long.
Hello everyone. It's my immense pleasure to be in this conference since it's the first conference of WILP experience, and I'm grateful for Viz Pilani as well as HCL, because without them I would not be here as well. And the idea that we came up with, it was based out of experience as well as our thought of technology on how to use AI in education in a fruitful manner, and also not affect the quality of education during the process. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's all I had to say, and I express my gratitude to all those who delivered the keynote addresses and participated in the panel discussions. and came here to present papers or posters. I'm sure that we have benefited enormously, and I look forward to, my colleagues. I may or may not be here by then, but I certainly look forward to my colleagues being able to take this event to, much greater heights as we proceed. Thank you.
Good evening. Conferences can be serious sometimes, and a lot of academic people getting together discussing very interesting stuff. And conferences can be serious when you see academic people walking down the corridor with their shirts properly tucked in their trousers. There is something very serious. Some of them even put on shoes for that. Some who are very enthusiastic, they even put on blazers with sports shoes. And, well, that's a very serious combination, by the way, up in North India. People are wearing that to their wedding. So, a lot of discussion was happening around artificial intelligence. I thought, let us ask ChatGPT whether we can crack a joke in academic conferences. And I swear on Donald Trump's life and his hair, ChatGPT said it may be inappropriate to crack a joke in academic conferences, but here are some examples. So I thought, let's, before we move on to prize distribution, of course, we are waiting for that moment. While this is a concluding remark, I think it is not the conclusion because so many good things have been discussed. I think it is the beginning of something very good. What we take from here and the ideas that we have discussed and deliberated upon, I am very sure that they are going to contribute to the world in a very meaningful way. We have certain categories of prizes that have been announced. Let me take one by one in research-oriented track. Track 1, Perspectives on Future Directions for Work-Integrated Learning. The best paper, paper ID 183, Work-Integrated Learning in Mass Communication Education, a critical evaluation using Fink's taxonomy, Mona Gupta, Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies for 30,000 rupees. I please call upon stage. Mona Gupta is here. Okay. Moving on, track 2, Pedagogical Practices, paper ID 66, Utilizing Learning Styles to Improve Experiential Learning Among Working Professionals, a Systematic Mapping, Shilpa Kadam, Upgrad in Sophie, Praveen Kumar, BITS Hyderabad, Deepak Sarpati, BITS Hyderabad, for 30,000 rupees. May I please welcome on stage I soar upon Donald Trump's life. Where are these people? Okay. Track 3, Assessment Models, paper ID 135, AI-infused academic planning for student excellence, Purvi Deshpande, PES University, Nikit KB, PES University, Ishita Vyas, PES University, Ayushi Kumari, PES University, Dr. Clara Kanmani, APES University for 30,000 rupees. All in absentia. Moving on to track 4, Innovation and Learning Technologies, paper ID, we have the best paper, paper ID 31, Gen AI, Education in the Age of Innovation, Benefits and Future Trends, Jacqueline G. Priya, LIBA, for 30,000 rupees. Are we in the wrong room? Track 5, moving on. Industry Academia Collaboration. The best paper, paper ID 161. We have somebody. Exploring Effective Collaboration Models in Industry Academia Partnerships. Bundi Katla, Mr. Mahesh Verma, Beer and Bull Investments. Welcome on stage. I'll request Director Professor G. Sundar to facilitate. Congratulations, Mr. Mahesh Verma. Well done. Now moving on to practice-oriented type. We have the best two papers with us. Paper ID 141, Role of Technology for Injury Prevention in Manufacturing Sector. Khadar Wali Sheikh Aditya Birla, for 30,000 rupees. We request you to come on stage. We can clap in absentia, no problem. Paper ID 179, the second best paper that we have, Intelligent System for Evaluating and Analyzing Descriptive Responses. R. Harshita, PES University. Pankuri Tayal, PES University. Parth Praveen Shetty, PES University. Pratiksha P. Srinath V, PESIT. Please welcome on stage. For 20,000 rupees, the best paper in the category. Congratulations. Moving on to the next category, we have the best case study. Paper ID 189, Contribution of Work-Integrated Learning Programs towards Continued Employability, Skill Enhancement in Working Professionals. A case study, Suri Babu Kuchimanchi, BITS Pilani, Jayashri Mahesh, BITS Pilani Pilani Campus, for 5,000 rupees. I welcome you on stage. Congratulations. Thank you. Moving on to our next category, Best Poster. Paper ID 105, Teacher's Aid, Advancing Classroom Interaction with AI by Ankita Jaina and T. Harshima Devi, BITS Pilani Wilp Division, for 5,000 rupees. Take your time, I can maybe crack a joke in between, not a problem. That's okay. Congratulations. Huge round of applause. A lot of hard work has gone into. Sure. Moving on to the EduForge prizes in the students category. It was a tough decision at the third spot. We have a tie. I request Debabrati Banerjee, Mrityunjay Shukla, who presented enhancing real-time learning interactivity in work-integrated learning programs, a multi-model approach, to come on stage first. Congratulations. I'll request Shruti Gupta also to come on stage, who presented AI-powered learning solution for assignments forming groups and references for topics taught in classes. Moving on to the second prize. Okay, Shruti is here. You have to call him. Mr. Shukla, it was a shared prize. Yeah. Yeah. With
I'll announce that.
yeah.
So basically, the third prize, there are two winners. So it is shared by, it is shared by Banerjee and Shruti both. But soon, that is in a week's time, we would be sending the separate prize and certificate to them. Since it was pre-prepared as a one set, but both of them came to that slot, third prize slot. So now they are sharing it. But it would be separately sent to both of them.
Congratulations, both of you. Moving on to the second prize in this category, may I invite Utsav Vora, Innovate EDU, for 50,000 rupees. Second prize winner, Utsav Vora. Congratulations, Utsav. The second prize for 15,000 rupees. Thank you. Moving on to the first prize in this category, may I invite Shresth Shukla, Hemant Singh, Sarthak Malhotra for Vishay. First prize for 25,000 rupees. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for the winners. Congratulations. With this, we conclude the prize distribution ceremony. I thank you all for the time and effort that you have taken to be here with us. Your presence has made this occasion very special. It was the first ever conference that we have done on work integrated learning. I thank you for your time. I thank you for the effort and the way you have enriched this academic community with the ideas that you have presented, the discussions that you have had. I request Professor Ramesh Venkatraman to take over henceforth, and somebody please check if Donald Trump is still alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik. Congratulations all the prize winners. Now we'll go to the next segment on this valedictory function. I request Professor Vaishali to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to all. On behalf of the organizing committee of IconVille 2024, we would like to thank Professor G. Sundar, Director of Campus Industry and Industry Engagement, Professor Guru Narayan Sir, Deputy Director of Campus and Industry Engagement, and our WLP Dean, Professor P. P.B. Venkat Sir, for providing us a leadership, guidance, and support, starting from conceiving this idea to execution of Asia's first ever international conference on one integrated learning. We would like to express our gratitude to Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao Sir, Group Vice Chancellor, BITS Pilani, for inspiring and giving us this opportunity. We would like to thank the AICT Chairman, Professor T.G. Sitaram, for taking his time out from his busy schedule and grace this occasion. We would also like to thank our sponsoring partner, to name all, Spanda AI, CAD, FEM, SESIM, MathWorks, Mercer Mittal, VBox, and Primerson for extending their help.
May I request everyone in the audience to please be seated for a few more minutes till the function is over. The dignitaries are seated on the dais, so kindly cooperate. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, sir. For extending their support for sponsoring this event. We would also like our publishing partner, Springer, who agreed to publish the selected quality papers. Our special thanks to Professor Lakshminarayan Samavedam for helping immensely inviting distinguished international dignitaries. Our sincere thanks to all international and national keynote speakers who brought insight to the conference theme. Now we would like to thank panel moderators, Professor Anita, Professor Anupama, and Professor P. Srinivasan, and all the panelists from academia and industry. Our special thanks goes to the workshop facilitator, Mr. Keshava Rangarajan. A big thanks to all the authors, participants, and especially for sending their research work to this 2 days international conference, and through thorough scrutiny we could publish, we could present quality papers here. Thank you all across all 5 tracks. We also extend our thanks to EduForce students, competent participants. We received almost 70 plus entries, and today, yesterday we had also presented for 14th solution. Our sincere thanks to paper reviewers, both international and external and international and national, for carrying out double-blinded review of all submitted papers, including the abstract. We also thank the session chairs, jury members for their time and evaluation support. We extend our support to BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus for providing infrastructure and human resource support for various departments. We thank WLP supporting departments, especially admin, marketing, operations, travel and hospitality, and finance and accounting department. We also thank the campus students volunteer to support the program committee during these 2 days. A special thanks to all the artists who made the cultural evening mesmerizing and memorable. A big thanks to the core committee led by Professor Krishnamurthy Bindumadhan sir, the convener for the conference. Under his able leadership, the entire core team has worked day and night to make this conference at this stage and make it a successful event. Thank you, the core committee led by Professor Bindumadhan sir. Last but not the least, we thank the housekeeping and maintenance staff who helped us in these 2 days, supporting all the committee at all the venues. I request everyone to have a wide round of applause and thank all the participants who made the event memorable to fun. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vaishali. So now basically there is a team, core team, which has worked as Professor P.B. Venkataraman mentioned, that a core team was formed in the last, I think around June, and in the last so many months, we formed various committees to. So, so the core team has put in a lot of efforts to make this Asia's first ever international conference on work integrated learning a grand success. And though maybe, we want to make it, as Professor Bindu Madhavan mentioned, we want to make it as a maybe a regular activity, a regular kind of an edition, maybe annually or biannually based on the discussion with the leadership team. So there is the core team's efforts tremendous to make this happen in the last 2 days that we have seen. Now, maybe I request the leadership team to just honor the core team members with a memento. I request Professor Satisha Sheth to come on the dais. Professor Satisha Sheth led the technical program committee, completely taking care of all the, starting from the abstracts, the papers, reviews, publication, liaison with the Springer, complete series of activities related to technical program. Thank you. May I request Professor Nagavamsi Krishna to come on the dais. Professor Nagavamsi Krishna was instrumental in basically, we saw a number of keynote speakers, panel discussions with eminent panelists. So all that was an effort of a few of our colleague professors, and Professor Nagavamsi Krishna was instrumental. May I request Professor Samir Kale to come on the dais.
I request everyone from the organizing team to come forward. As the names are called, you should kindly come quickly.
Please, okay. Yeah. We'll call him. Yeah. So Professor Samir Kale was leading the sponsorship committee. So we garnered excellent support from the sponsors, as you could see, the 7 sponsors. I request Professor Sri Prasad to come on the dais, please. Professor Sri Prasad was instrumental in supporting Professor Satisha Sheth in the technical program committee. You saw the number of abstracts we received, 240 plus, and the amount of work involved in putting through the multiple stages of reviews, getting the reviewers and all. I request Professor Dr. Jayaprakash to come on the stage, please. Professor Jayaprakash, part of the sponsorship committee, was instrumental in carrying out the complete end-to-end activities along with Professor Samir Kale, including the stalls and everything that you are seeing, complete design and complete commissioning and management of it. I request Professor Gaurav Nagpal to come on the dais. Professor Gaurav Nagpal, with his extensive industry connect, was instrumental in getting so many eminent panelists in the panel discussions and some of the eminent keynote speakers. I request Professor Arindam Rai to come on the stage. So Professor Arindam Rai led the complete EduForge students competition, which saw more than around 70 initial proposals. Ultimately, we select, that is 14 solutions were presented and 4 teams got the prizes. I request Professor Vaishali to come on the dais. So Professor Vaishali was leading the budgeting and finance track, also completely managing the registrations track. I request Professor Rakesh Prasanna to come on the stage, please. Professor Rakesh Prasanna was working on various committees and also especially on the certifications and the prizes. And maybe in the last few days, as we were into the conference days, wherever I got stuck, he was my Abhat Pandavan, what is it? So immediately I call, and using his campus connects, being present here, he got it cleared many of the things with his professional connections. Thank you. I request Professor Sai Kishore Jankiti to come on the stage. So as soon as we conceived the idea of this conference, one of the first things we released was our website. Professor Sai Kishore has, independently, individually, he was the one who created and completely maintained the website till now fully. I request Professor Sanjay Vidyadharan. So in the initial days of planning, we thought we need to take maybe some external vendor support for getting some very creative, maybe posters and collaterals to maybe promote this conference. Whereas we found the entire creativity was with Professor Sanjay Vidyadharan. Completely end-to-end, whatever you saw, posters, brochures, everything that was circulated on the mail or now, completely it was designed by Professor Sanjay Vidyadharan. Now I request Professor Madhuri Bhaiya. So Professor Madhuri Bhaiya, as you would have seen, this complete suite of mementos, certificates, shawls and all the things complete relating to on-stage management, individually completely taking ownership, designing, procuring and making sure they are all available at the right time is executed by Professor Madhuri Bhaiya. So, yeah, Professor Praveen Yashwant Pawar here, I think he has left already today. Ms. Shilpa Narlagiri, there. Yeah, I request Professor Shilpa Narlagiri on the stage. Yeah, Ms. Shilpa Narlagiri on the stage. Shilpa is a lab instructor in WILP, and she was independently driving the track of cultural programs. I am sure many of you who were part of the cultural programs yesterday, you would have identifying the students, where are the skills, and maybe talking to them, and then having the complete designing of that for the 2 hours, and then executing, supporting the students to get prepared for the event was done by Shilpa. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he says it's over, but actually one of the main roles to help run this entire conference was Professor Ramesh Venkatraman. So Professor Ramesh, he coordinated all the meetings and did extraordinary work. He's a real champion of project management, and those skills helped to run this conference. So thank you.
None of this would have been all complete without Professor Bindu Madhavan's support, so I request Professor Guru Narayanan to
So I would like to say that it was a very excellent experience for the core team, and I am sure we are very thrilled about basically able to deliver this first edition of this Asia's first ever international conference on work integrated learning with the guidance and the support from the leadership, director, deputy director, dean and convener for this conference. And I am sure you would have equally benefited by going through all the sessions and paper presentations, which provides a now kind of an avenue to present our research work in maybe. So the further editions of this, maybe we will definitely strive to increase the benchmark and offer a much better version of it. But that would be possible only with the support of all the stakeholders, not just the core team, like we have the various, we have keynote speakers, panelists, and also the authors who are doing research and coming and presenting. So we would, maybe though the template is now created, our goal would be to maybe more better the template or make it best in the coming editions with the support of the leadership. So.
There's one very important person that we need to call on the stage, because he helped us connect with some of the leading researchers who really presented, I think, papers that Professor Sundar mentioned, and that is none other than Professor Lakshmi Narayan and Samavedam to come on the stage. Please, thank you. These efforts only have helped to make this conference a success. It was mostly behind the scenes effort, but thank you for that. I request sir to honor him. Thank you.
So the most respected audience and distinguished guests, so basically with that we come to the end of this valedictory, and we'll look forward to, I think, meet again in the next edition of the conference.